Hi, I'm Bhavesh, and in this video we are going to talk about subsystems. So let's begin. So what is a subsystem, and how do your jobs relate to subsystem? So let us figure it out together. Subsystem is basically a compartment wherein which the job is submitted. So you also have job queues. So this gets a little bit confusing of how job queues fit within the container of the subsystem. Can you have multiple job queues in the same subsystem, or can a job queue serve multiple subsystems? So let's answer all those questions in this video. So let's begin. So what is a subsystem? You would have heard of multiple subsystems like QINTER, QBATCH, QCTL, and so on. So all these names are subsystem names. But it can get confusing because we do not have this concept into Windows or Linux or the other operating systems that we are used to. So let's find out what is a subsystem. So basically, you can imagine subsystem to be a container or a separator box, wherein if you submit a job, the job will be assigned and it will run in a specific subsystem. So that specific container that will be assigned to, or that subsystem that will be assigned to, every subsystem has a dedicated space. It has its own memory pool, it has its own resources, and all the rules of how the job is supposed to run, the job priorities and all those things. So RAM, CPU, and other resources that are required for the job to run, all those resources are dedicated to a subsystem. So if you have two jobs and if you submit one job in the first subsystem and the second job runs in another subsystem, they can run in parallel because they have their own dedicated set of resources. So IBM doesn't run all the jobs into one single shared space. It divides the jobs into multiple categories. So the general classification of these subsystems is the type of job or the category of the job. So we have different types of jobs like interactive jobs. So interactive jobs are the login session. Once a user logs in, that also becomes a job. So the user login job, which is an interactive job, for that we have an interactive subsystem. The jobs running in an interactive job, if you imagine, you cannot make the user wait for the batch processing to complete. Let's say if another job is running in the background, which is a batch processing, which has to process data on millions of transactions, it has to process transactions, and it is going on for a long time, then your interactive user login session cannot wait. So interactive jobs are a different type. They run in a different type of their own subsystem. Batch jobs, which are there, which process millions of records one after time, they run in their own subsystem called as QBATCH. Communication jobs and so on and so forth, they have their own subsystems. So what is the need for having subsystems? Why do you need to separate? Why do you need to have these different containers? So it developed historically when AS400 was developing, and the idea was resource control and stability. If interactive users and batch jobs shared the same space, pool of memory and processing priority, then heavy batch jobs would choke out everyone typing on their terminals, and the whole system would feel sluggish for everyone. So as we have discussed, if you have a job which is running for multiple hours or a long time, then it would take all the resources for its own purpose and it would make everything else slow. But with this separation, the interactive jobs can also run on their own. So by splitting the work into different subsystems, the administrators, the AS400 admins can control exactly how much RAM, how much memory, CPU utilization the active jobs would need, how much the batch jobs would need, so on and so forth. And if there is a problem with one system, it will be a problem with that. It will be limited within that subsystem. It will not spread to the entire AS400 machine. So what are the different types of common subsystems you see? So we have some subsystems written over here, but we will go to AS400 and we'll do work active job, WRKSBSJOB. You can see here subsystem/job. So the parent node that is written over here, QBATCH sysload. These parent nodes are subsystems. QCTL, control subsystem. QHTTP server. So this is a subsystem specifically for the web server jobs. And you have QINTER that we have talked about, the interactive session. So we have multiple QINTERs and so on. And the child nodes over here are the actual jobs which are running inside the subsystem. So for example, my own job, or my login into AS400 is going to be this one. This is my login. So this is my job that is currently running. See, you can see over here my command is WRKACTJOB. So this my job which is running inside the QINTER subsystem. So we have different types of subsystems as we have seen. QCTL is the controlling subsystem. It is the first subsystem that startups when the operating system boots, and it manages the console and the overall system control. Then we also have QINTER that we have seen. QINTER subsystem handles all the interactive jobs, sessions, login sessions, where the people are working on the black and green 50-50 screen. All that runs in the QINTER subsystem. QBATCH is a subsystem designed for batch jobs. So the bulk processing, the bulk data load processing that happens inside the QBATCH subsystem. Then you also have the QCMN or QSys work subsystem. It controls all the network related, communication related jobs like TCP/IP jobs, sockets, and other tasks. Then we also have QSPL, which manages spooling. So the jobs which handle the print, output, and spool files. So a lot of clients also create their own subsystems for the specific applications, for the particular way in which the software is designed. So we can have customized subsystems also. So how do subsystems relate to jobs and job queues? Now you might be confused by thinking about the job queue, and the subsystem. So let us get this straight. A job is a verb where an activity is going on. It is a task, it is a process. A job queue is a queue in which the job waits until it is picked up for processing. Once it is picked up for processing, it will run on a specific subsystem. So we can have multiple job queues which are running inside our subsystem. We can also have the subsystem being tagged to multiple job queues. So let us look at it into detail. So when a batch job is submitted, it doesn't go directly to the subsystem. It will first, the job which is specific for the batch job, it will first land inside a job queue. So if there are other jobs which are running in the subsystem, you cannot now have multiple jobs running within the same subsystem. You can have multiple jobs running at the same time, yes, but those have to be in the different subsystems. So you can have jobs running in parallel, one job in one subsystem and another job in another subsystem, but we cannot have multiple jobs running within the same subsystem. So we need a queue. We need a queue to hold them in a line, and when the turn comes, it will be picked up for processing, and it will be processed, and it will execute within that specific subsystem for which the queue is joined to. So the subsystem is configured to look at a specific job queues and will pull work from them whenever available. When the job queue has jobs waiting, it will pull up the job from the job queue, and based on the administrator setup, it can decide on how many jobs it can run at once and what priority they get. So this is the workflow. A job will get submitted, it will sit in the job queue, and the subsystem that is monitoring that job queue, it will pick up and it will run the job, provided there is room for the subsystem's active job pool. So that is why you will see multiple times that there are multiple jobs which are waiting in the queue doing nothing. It is because they are not stuck, because they are waiting for their turn on the subsystem, on when it will become empty and they will get picked up and they will start running. So there are multiple commands to work with subsystems. So we'll go through these: work subsystems and work subsystem jobs and work active job. So if we go back to our AS400 screen, we can execute work subsystem. So when you do WRKSBS, you'll be shown the list of subsystems that are there. We can see multiple QBATCH subsystems and control subsystem and the interactive subsystem, the HTTP server subsystem, and so on. So you can then work with the subsystem. You can look at the description or you can work with the subsystem jobs directly from here. So if we do phi inside QBATCH, you can work with the subsystem description, operation attributes, pool definition, job queue entries. So if I go to option 6, it will show me that there are these many job queues. QBATCH is the name of the job queue, which is pointed to the QBATCH subsystem. But there is this QS36EVOKE. This job queue is also pointed to the QBATCH subsystem. So there are multiple job queues. Some of the users have also created their own job queues, which are pointing to the QBATCH subsystem. You can also see how many jobs are allowed to run at max at once. So QS36EVOKE, there is no max. Here you have 20 jobs max running at once. So this is the configuration of the subsystem and which queues are pointed to the subsystem. And we saw that we can look at subsystems from work active job as well. We can also sort the jobs basis subsystem. So if I do WRKACTJOB and if I filter by Shift F8, I can type in the name of the subsystem QBATCH, and only QBATCH subsystem will show up, and all the jobs which are running inside QBATCH will show up. So we have covered the basics of subsystems. What are subsystems, what are queues, and how they are related to each other, and how queues point to the subsystem. I hope this has explained, or this has allowed you to understand the basic concept of subsystems, job queues, the jobs, and how do they relate with each other in the AS400 ecosystem. If you do like these videos, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.